Hi there, everybody. I'm Ani
I'm
Anderson.
Brian
We're
Trzaskos.
from the Somatic Coaching Academy. We're coming to you tonight from headquarters.
Here we are, HQ.
Yep. Welcome to Somatic Coaching Academy headquarters. And tonight we're talking about big business, drug companies, insurance companies, social media companies. They're betting against you.
They're betting against you. Now, I know the title says that they're better against you, and what it really saying...
only some of the titles actually said that.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I must not have been wearing my glasses.
Okay, so we're talking about they're betting against you. Like, they're the house, people. Then they're like the house never loses.
And there's stuff that they don't want us to know we're going to be talking about tonight.
So we're doing an Ocean's 13 here, or Ocean's 11. Which was the first one? Ocean's 11, right? They took down the house, baby.
I love those movies. Those are my favorite.
We're doing Ocean's 11, and Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13, and Ocean's 8. It's like, it's all about the oceans.
It is the best. Aren't heist movies the
best? I love them, especially when you're taking down the man.
That's true. And, both of us have kind of, in some capacity, been about taking down the man our whole careers.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe in the beginning, Brian, it was more about that for me. I was really like, taking it down. Now they should be a little worried about me, honestly. I've got such momentum. But it's not really what motivates me anymore.
Yeah.
But it can be really motivating to get out there and make a big difference against these big companies. And if that's you, that's super awesome. Go Ocean's 11 it.
Yeah, well, certainly when you see organizations that just take advantage of people, right? They stop caring really about what people's needs are, really about what's important to folks, really about enhancing other people's lives, and then driven by the almighty dollar, of course, and we got to get more of it. There never seems to be enough growth at any cost, and individuals just get pushed out of the way. And I hate bullies. To be perfectly honest with you.
Right?
I mean, so for me, it's sticking it to the man is really about David and Goliath, kind of like bullies. Like, how do we really stand up to bullies? And I think that big business oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes can be really bullish for their own needs and really stop caring a lot about making a positive difference in the world for individuals.
Well, anybody who's gotten a hospital bill and has seen how much a Tylenol costs when you're in the hospital would probably think that's a little bully-like.
Yeah, and never mind that. So you got the Tylenol, and then if you've ever been in the hospital, and then you see what your insurance company does and does not cover.
That's true.
And so now you've got like two bullies pushing the little guy around.
So we're gonna have this in about two sections. So the first sections, we're going to talk a little bit about the drug and insurance companies. The second session. It's not going to be that long.
We're coming back to. We got dinner in the oven actually, so we got to actually keep this to a certain amount of time.
It's going to be more about social media. Brian, a lot of my clients through the years have been interested in getting off of medications, but they don't always tell me that in the beginning. It's not necessarily something people have hired me for, but it does come out at certain times. Like, I remember this one client who hired me to help her with anxiety. Honestly, it was probably on the intake. I don't remember us talking about her medications in the beginning, but she was also trying to grow her coaching practice. And that's why people have hired me through the years, primarily is help them to grow their service-based businesses. And so she hired me for that. She said, yeah, I have anxiety. And I remember it was a very short amount of time that we were working together. It was the third session, if I remember correctly. And she said, this has helped me more than 30 years of therapy. You've heard that one before,
right?
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. So one of the interesting things about, and I haven't even talked about the drugs yet, but one of the interesting things about the insurance-based system is it can be incredibly disempowering, actually, when we're not paying for our services, right? And so we go, and it seems, well, not anymore, I was going to say free, but like the co-pays are just as much as you think a session would cost. But it seems like somebody else is paying for it. But when a coaching client is paying for their coaching, they show up differently because they're paying for it. So that's something you might want to say something about. Back to the drugs. So this person was on Anti-anxiety and sleep medication. And again, I don't remember us talking about this, but it was a few weeks in, and she said I started to decrease my anxiety medication. You know, big business is betting on the fact that they're going to be able to keep people taking medication. And when they work with somatic coaches, they don't. I've had multiple clients tell me, and I'm not advising them about any of this.
So we want to be really clear about that, right?
No.
If you're taking medications, like,
talk to your
doctor and make sure there's a plan around it. And that's what we really advocate for ourselves and for our clients. I mean, I've been to the doctor and had stuff going on. The doctor's like, well, we got to put you on some medication. And my question for the doctor is, okay, so first let's talk about why it's important I'm on this medication. And then the next thing is, what do I need to demonstrate so that I get off this medication? So for me, medications are always transient, and I got to be able to have a conversation with my doctor of what is he looking for so that I can come off the medication.
That is a fantastic question that everybody should be asking their healthcare professional when you get prescribed something.
Yeah. So I never will take a medication with it being like, this is a forever thing. It's always, for me, it's like, well, what has to change or shift? Knowing that the medication can act like a bridge or a crutch or something for a period of time while something else gets balanced. Also knowing that, prolonged use of medication will tend to chronically imbalance the system, because our neuroendocrine system is just like a teenager, Ani. It's just like a teenager.
Tell me.
Just like a teenager that is showing up for dinner. So dinner's right? There's dinner. Teenager shows up and has the dinner. Okay.
Dinner
shows up. Dinner comes back and just shows up for the dinner, shows up for the dinner, shows up for the dinner, shows up for the dinner. You know what's funny? If the dinner's not there, I have literally seen teenagers stand in the kitchen
waiting for
the dinner to show up.
Like a cat.
They actually are like, when's the dinner going to show up?
Right.
Well, there's no one here to make the dinner. The people who usually make the dinner are too busy to make the dinner. So make your own dinner. And then they just go back into the room. They don't even make the dinner. And then something else bad happens. So same thing with our neuroendocrine systems. If every day, like, dinner is showing up, a medication showing up, a medication showing up, medication showing up.
Doesn't have to make its own dinner.
Right. It doesn't have to do it. And then it doesn't become strong enough. And for some reason, if the medicine doesn't show up one day, it won't start automatically making it. And that's when we go into, we have side effects from that, right? We have withdrawal responses from it. All those kinds of things happen.
Yep.
We become disempowered when something just keeps kind of showing up that way.
Our body can make its own dinner.
Can make its own dinner. Your body can make its own medicine. And big business is betting that you won't take the time to do that. You won't learn how to do it. People don't want to figure it out. It's too hard. Like, big business is betting against you and your nervous system and your neuroendocrine system and your hormones and your sleep and your everything.
Yeah. And the fact that you won't talk to people about not only that they can make their own medicine internally, but in ways that they can understand that.
Right.
It's betting that you're not going to get organized in ways to help meet the clients, help clients understand the problems that they're having and move through it so that they can really make the change and be empowered.
Yep.
They're betting against all of our empowerment.
You know what they're also betting against with that empowerment idea is the medical systems. We haven't got on social media yet, or drug companies. We're still in the medical system.
That's part two.
That's part two?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? So in the medical system, there is a long history of expert on the healthcare professional side of I'm the expert, and the patient side of I'm not the expert. You tell me what to do. You're the expert. And so there's a lot of disempowerment that can go in.
Just in the whole relationship.
And the problem is that the expert or the healthcare professional is also disempowered because they do not know what's best for you. They do not know your experience. They do not know all the context of what you have going on. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come in, I'm working with them, they give me some information, they're asking for advice, I work on some things with them, and then at the end of the session, during the session, they say, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you something. And if they would have told me that at the beginning of the session, it would have been a completely different conversation. So the expert can never know fully what's going on for you. And however, in the medical system, we walk in with a preconceived notion of this expert and disempowered kind of patient. But what they're betting against is that you as a client and coaches, somatic coaches, will not have the wherewithal to become into a collaborative relationship where it's not where the power dynamic changes, not from expert and patient, but more collaboration. They're betting against the partnership. They're betting against the partnership that when two of you working together, that's when you can actually change things. And this whole expert and disempowered situation that goes on is why stuff really doesn't change.
Which started forever ago, by the way.
Yeah.
Back with the body-mind split, when the church took the spirit and the doctors took the body. I mean, how disempowering is that to pull us in parts?
Yeah.
And that is still how we're thinking about things. It influences how we're thinking about things all the time.
Yeah.
The big businesses are betting that your clients think what you do is weird and woo. And guess what? Nobody gives a crap anymore, especially. Like 10 years ago when we were doing this, we used to have more kind of nervous laughter or things like that when we would teach, or people would want to ask us a question behind closed doors. I didn't want to ask in front of everybody. Listen, Brian, I don't know about you. I'm seeing it all the time, every day. People do not care anymore. It's even cool. And by the way, most people, the majority of people are going to alternative health providers first anyway. That's what the statistics say. And of course, I don't know the exact statistic because that's how I roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people are going to alternative health providers first. Anyway, what if we as a society owned that?
Yeah, exactly. You know, just to kind of echo what you're talking about, Ani, today we did our very first number one engagement session of our level 2 somatic transformation fundamentals program. And in our number one engagement session, our first engagement session, the number one takeaway from the whole session for all the students they were all so thrilled about understanding that we are energy and the science behind it.
Yeah.
Because we go deep into that.
It's very free.
And so they were like, oh my God, like
Very
here's the evidence, here's the proof that we are actually energy and that our energy field is going around all the time with us. We have a physical form, but we're also an energy field. And big medicine is betting against you knowing that. Because if we didn't know that, and we thought that we're primarily chemical beings first, then guess what? The drug companies, like, there you go. That's actually how the drug companies got their foot in the door to begin with. Because, I give you a quick lesson on this. When the cell was first seen, like a couple hundred years ago, right? When people were like looking in pond water and seeing like amoebas and stuff swim around in there. And then, and when human cells are being dissected, and they looked at the cells and they started pulling the cells apart, they found out that chemical reactions happen in the cells. And then big pharma, we're little pharma at that time, but drug companies were like, that's it. If we can do chemicals, if we can do drugs in the body, we can change how the body operates. But what they didn't realize at the time was that the function in those cells didn't go like A goes to B, B goes to C,
Very linear.
C, like this affects that, then this affects that. It doesn't actually work that way. It actually works simultaneously. Like you affect A and you immediately get effect in B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, Z. Right? Everything gets affected when you just affect A. It jumps to everything.
Which is why all the side effects tell you that you're going to get
exactly. You
diarrhea,
read all the side
acne,
effects and all that kind of
problems.
stuff. And so when you look deeper in the cell, you realize it's actually the hormonal. Are there chemicals in the cell? Yes, there are. But they are actually given their directive from energy, from energetic fields first. So we're primarily energy, and that's what drives the chemical nature of it. But drug companies are betting against you understanding that, caring about it, knowing what the heck to do with it, so that they can keep pumping us full of drugs as the primary solution to whatever single problem we think we have. But there's no single drug you're ever going to take that's only going to affect the one symptom that you think that you have.
Well, when you work with energy, it's also going to affect everything.
Everything.
But in the better way. in a better way. So big business is betting that you can't get yourself organized enough to actually run this business, that actually can thrive and can see as many clients as you want, help as many clients as you want. And you know, we're here to tell you it's 100% possible, because we hear holistic practitioners, wellness practitioners, therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, social workers, coaches, you name it, every day say, but how do I get clients? Big business is sitting there betting that that's exactly what you're nervous about.
So let's segue to social media.
Hang on a second. I'm
not segueing yet.
Done yet. There's plenty of clients out there, but you do need to get organized. So one of the things we teach our students is what we call the client connection model. This is about how you get clients. And then we're going to talk about social media
Gotcha,
for a second.
yeah.
Okay. This is my bridge.
Okay.
So the client connection.
I'll get off your bridge.
No. The client connection model goes like this. First thing you're going to do is you're going to connect with people and do some education and talking to them. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a second. The next thing you're going to do is give them an experience with the work. And then you're going to ask people and invite people to join you into larger engagements. And part of the reason that this works is because, yes, we want to give people a taste of the modalities, because they don't really care about all the nitty gritties about the modalities. They want to know, is it going to work for me? So we give them an experience with that. But before we do that, we have to talk to them a little bit. Yes, we want to give them a chance to get to know us and stuff like that. But what we're doing is we're not explaining our modality, how cool it is, and all of that stuff. We're talking to them about how what they're doing now isn't getting them the results that they want. And we're talking about the results that they want. We're actually talking with people about what they want to achieve. I don't know about you, but I don't know that a doctor's ever asked me that question. And no shade to doctors, by the way. I'm just saying the paradigm is different. So you get into a conversation with people about what they want to achieve. All of a sudden, you're having a totally different conversation. Starts to shift everything for them right then and there. Then after you have that conversation about what results people want to achieve, you invite them to come have an experience with the work. They do. They start to have transformation. And then, I mean, for some people, it's like all they need.
Yep.
And there's lots of people who want to continue on with the work. Now, that model is one that we teach our students every day of the week. And a big reason is because it works. It's been working the whole, I think I've been in business now for myself. I'm having trouble counting because I need more fingers. Like over 20 years. It's worked for the 20 years I've been in business. I bet you anything it's going to keep working another 20 years, Brian, no matter what, because that right there is algorithm proof. And that's what the social media companies don't want you to know. They want you to think that you need them. No, you don't. You don't. So the people who created social media actually created it to be addictive, and they created it so we would need to stay on the platforms and keep feeding it. So when we hear from a lot of people, like, I feel bad about being on social media. I feel like it sucks me in. Like, we see our teenagers having to our teenagers stuff. We don't even want to be on it. And we tell our students all the time, guess what? You don't have to, which is such a big relief, because a lot of times, especially in the coaching industry, people get super sucked into marketing themselves, social media marketing and other. So you think that you have to get in there and play on those platforms. But the reality is that the rate of being seen, like when you do a post or something, is so small. They're not even sending it to your friends. It's a very, very small percentage. I remember when we started doing content marketing a long time ago, and we were really working hard at sending newsletters and stuff. And then one day I heard the percentage rate for how many people actually read your newsletters. It was something like 3%. 3%, so small, but you don't need to do any of that stuff when you have a relationship-based business. And social media is betting, especially because their algorithms are all baked into being addictive, that you're not going to figure that out. You're going to think everybody's on there. That's the only way to get clients. And it's not true. You don't have to do it.
Actually, one of the things I think that social media does too, based on what you're talking about, Ani, is there are a select number of people out there who are like, we need to teach you how to do the social media because we know how the algorithms work. And they're telling you how they work. But we've done this a lot, okay, so let's hire a social media company and we're not getting the results that they say we're getting. And they're like, oh, well, we have to try something else.
That's what
we got to tweak something else.
You got to
and so you
throw more money
you become convinced that if you could just figure out the algorithm, then you could win. But it's like a constantly moving game. You can't win it because it's always one step ahead of you. But we're so addicted to kind of like, I've got to figure it out, that we keep pouring more resources into it. And we keep spending all this time and we're getting no feedback, but we don't stop doing it. We keep doing it because we're told that's what we have to do. And if we just find the promised land of figuring out the algorithms, then we'll somehow probably gold to fall from the sky or something.
Yeah. And big business is betting, social media companies are betting that you're going to continue to come from your core limitations, by the way, which every 10th of a second throughout your entire body are saying things like, you can't fix this. You're not good enough anyway. You don't know what you're doing. You don't belong here. Your core limiters are saying that. And big business is betting that you're not going to learn how to challenge that so that you know the truth. The truth is there's so many clients. There's so many clients that need and want this work and will pay for it. And there's plenty of thriving small businesses out there. And you can spend your time doing this stuff that you really love and matters instead of being stuck on the computer doing stuff you don't like. You don't have to do it. The marketers are telling you that you need marketing. The marketers, because they want to do marketing. So we prescribed, when we started our business, when we had our wellness center years ago, to the idea that one of the most powerful things you can do as a small business practitioner, and even as you grow and scale your business, by the way, this is just really good business when you're in a service-based business. Keep clients close to you and serve them well. So we started running somatic practice classes. And it's one of the reasons why we suggest that people come take our level 1 program, Somatic Practice Essentials, because we teach you how to run classes and workshops. And when you serve your clients regularly through somatic practice classes, which, I got to tell you, I don't see hardly any coaches being able to figure out, coaches specifically. Some therapists can do this, but I don't see hardly any coaches except for our coaches figuring out how to continually serve their clients routinely so that people are around.
Yeah, it's a ninja move
really
here, folks.
Important.
It's really about sustaining community. And unless you have, well, I'm not going to even say it that way. In order to sustain community, you have to have a way to bring people together on a regular basis. That's how you sustain community.
Yes.
And to come together on a regular basis for a certain reason that is nourishing for the people that are coming to it. And so what we did really well, and we really built our whole business off, 2 businesses off of this, actually, brick and mortars. And then
in a really, really small town,
really
by
small
the way.
place, is that when you have people coming for regular somatic practice classes, it changes the vibrational frequency in the room of the people, and they will invite more people to come in. We actually had to start maxing out our classes because we had a room in our building that we're at maximum. So we had to actually start limiting. And then when we would say, hey, we're opening up new classes, it's limited to X number of people, like it filled up very quickly because we literally could put nobody else in that room.
So yeah.
And so someone's like, well, can I bring another person? Well, sure, but our room's full, sort of thing. So make sure you get in there quicker. And so we opened up to more classes. We had some more instructors come in, those kinds of things. But here's the thing. When you're teaching these regular classes, invariably what happens so frequently is that after class, somebody will come up and go, hey, I got this nagging problem. Can you help me with this? And you're like, sure, let's set up an appointment. And now you've got a private client.
Exactly. Bada bing. I was at an event this week and I met a lot of new people, and I was telling somebody about the fact that we live in, the middle of the woods, and we had a wellness center, and they said, wow, that had to be really hard to get clients. And I was like, no, it was full. But it was because of this. So it's a big business is betting you're not going to get organized and you're not going to figure this stuff out.
Mhm.
And we're betting that you are.
We're betting that you will. Yeah.
And we know that we can teach you how.
Because this is an Ocean's 11 move here, folks. I mean, this is literally Ocean's 11. When you have a plan, when you know where big business is taking you for granted, when they are not taking for granted, it's underestimating you. Like, you have to know where big business is underestimating your skills, your drive, your knowledge, your know-how,
And your
capacity.
clients,
Yeah.
for crying out loud, because they're underestimating them too.
Right. So you just have to have a way to get organized and a way to present somatic practices materials that is guaranteed like attracting like honey, like just attracting people into what you're doing.
Even if you don't want to be a somatic coach, no problem. Somatic practices are the key to growing your coaching business, even if you're not a somatic coach.
Right, exactly.
But you have to be trained. So if you want to Ocean's 11, the big business, and you want to come learn how to do this so you can have a thriving practice, we would love to invite you to Kripalu this year so that you can join us and learn how to do this.
Yep. Join us there May 18th through 22nd, 2025. It's going to be an amazing experience. I have to say this too, Ani. You know, when we do this at Kripalu in person, this training, this is the only time we do this training in person. Every year, because we have a little more time, I bring in a little special something that we don't do on the virtual trainings. I already know what the special something is. I've been planning it, and I'm really, really excited about it.
I'm excited about it too. I hear and I hear your classes through the wall in our offices, and we've been in classes together for 13 years now.
Yep.
And I have to tell you, you surprise me on a regular basis with some kind of new little nugget that you get out of your squirrel brain there.
Yeah.
Last year's. Are you gonna do that one again?
Maybe.
Okay, because that was
the mindful and contemplative practices, the difference between the two, and how they work with the brain.
That was really good. So I can't wait to see what you do.
I've got a different one this year that's going to be super powerful.
So Brian's super nerdy about the science and the knowledge, which is amazing because our students get to come in and learn all of this stuff that could be really hard to digest, but he makes it so easy. We hear from our students all the time about how practical you make the science. And so our students can leave and feel like they really got it together and they can like talk like a professional because you taught them the science. I'm nutty about the business practices. I love helping you create thriving practices. And one of the things that we've done is set this program up so that you have a turnkey program. You're going to come spend a few days with us and you're going to leave with a business in a box. And if you're a coach, it is going to, if you do it, because that's up to you. If you do it, it's going to take your coaching practice to the next level. And there has never been a better time to do these things. Not only do people need them, they've needed them for a long time. Now people are actually asking for somatic practices, even by name.
Yeah. And I would even say it's not only to grow your coaching practice, it's to grow your massage therapy practice. It's to grow your physical therapy practice. It's to grow your personal training practice.
Your social work practice, your counseling practice.
It doesn't have to directly
your wellness practice.
As Ani said, connected to coaching. Originally for us, it's how I grew my physical therapy. This is before we were doing really like formal coaching.
Before we were doing coaching, yeah.
We did it to grow our physical therapy and body working practices.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So if you're a service-based professional and you work for yourself, it's the thing that's going to light it up for you. So yes, you are going to have to take, 4 days and go somewhere. And that might feel inconvenient. And the thing is that on the path to success and fulfillment in life and business, there's no such thing as things being completely convenient all the time. So it might feel a little inconvenient that you have to do some things to work out carpool or figure out who's going to cook dinner at home or who's going to help with the kids or who's going to watch the cat. Those kinds of things are inconvenient. The blessings and awesome awesomeness that this is going to bestow on your business and your life for the rest of your life are incomparable. Quick story. I had an event that I was going to this week, and I knew it was one of those things that was going to be a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. And I left the house, and my tire blew up on the highway. And I, be honest with you, and Brian knows because I was on the phone with him. My brain was starting to go, I should just go home, and my body was feeling heavy and tired. And I knew that that was a part of what was coming for me was really, really good stuff, because when we up level our lives, there's oftentimes some kind of inconvenience that we have to deal with. And I was willing to deal with that inconvenience to get to the next awesome place. So I hope for you that you are also willing to deal with the inconvenience that might be in the way a little bit for you to get to the new awesome place.
Yeah, because year after year, when we do this particular program, I mean, all of our programs get really great reviews and really great ratings, which we're really super excited about. And this particular one too, people say every time, especially after Kapalo last year, like I didn't even really know completely what I was getting into, and I wouldn't have missed this for the world. I can't believe that I thought about not coming. This was the most powerful, transformational program I've ever experienced. Like, this is the best class I've ever been to. So as Ani's pointing out, on the front end, it might feel like, oh, I've got to get this done and I got to do that. But at the end of that, people never even think about that. They think, oh my God, I almost didn't come to this thing because of X, Y, and Z. And then a year after that, you can see how their lives and their businesses are blossoming. And they think, if I didn't go to that training, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
The things you want in your life are worth it. And you are going to have to get through some inconvenience to get yourself to the place where you can have what you want. The Course Centering program delivers ridiculous amounts of value, and we are committed to helping you succeed. If you're considering it, but you're not sure, reach out to our team. Send us an email at info@somaticcoachingacademy.com. We'd be super happy to talk to you about it and see if it's the right program for you. We will do our due diligence to put links under this video, but if you're catching one that doesn't have a link under the video, no problem. Go to somaticcoachingacademy.com, click on events, and you'll find information about Kapalo. It's May 18th through 22nd, 2025. We can't wait to see you there.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Have a great rest of your day and evening, and thanks so much for joining us for this super fun little kind of rant and heist around big business.
You can beat the house, people.
That's
right. You can beat the house.
We got you.
Bye.
Bye.